Struber, Harpsy, Flarvoil, sing the crazy tune. Go, go,
Go, go.
go, go.
Within the lost media community, one of the most popular topics that have been talked about to death and back is easily lost pilot episodes. They're primarily created to sell and pitch an idea for a program to a certain television network, streaming service, or distributor. If the pilot gets approved and greenlit, that means a full series will be made. However, if it gets rejected for one reason or another, then that means said pilot will be the only remains of what could have been, besides a script and some concept art. Tons of pilots have become the subject of lost media over the years, and of all the ones that have been found so far this decade, I thought it would be interesting to go over the pilot based off of the then popular toy line, Gogo's Crazy Bones, and what I personally think of it. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get this show on the road! Words can't even describe how popular this iteration of the 90s toy line based off of a game called Knucklebones was when I was almost a decade old. I wouldn't say it's as huge as Monster High or My Little Pony, but it was definitely up there at the time.
Deze.
With how big Crazy Bones was, it makes sense for the toy line to have its own televised series in the process. Besides, we already got ourselves some perfect main protagonist material for this toy cartoon in the form of a... Oh no. Yeah, this is a real image of what the TV series would have looked like, featuring a cast of characters made from scratch that make up one of many teams known as the Gogo Getters, who are assigned by this big TV noodle thing named Glix, yes that's its real name, to hunt down human artifacts by traveling to our planet, while avoiding potentially dangerous obstacles such as giant animals and insects.
Why? I don't know.
Both the pilot and theme song for it were written by Norman J. Grossfield, the president of the now-defunct distribution company 4Kids Entertainment. The animation, on the other hand, was provided by Aronax, an animation studio based in Peru who previously worked on commercials for both the Gogo's Urban Toy series and the Cool/Groovy Gogos, which explains why a ton of CG models were recycled and duplicated within the pilot setting. Gotta cut those corners somehow. I remember seeing the teaser for the Gogo's cartoon years ago, and as with almost anything that happens to be announced, I was both excited and morbidly curious, wanting to see what the final product looked like. Sadly, kid me never got to see it. As it turns out, the Gogo's pilot did premiere on their official YouTube channel, but because of the negative reception it received from fans of the toy line, it was pulled shortly afterwards. The pilot was also available to view through the Televix website, but that too was also removed. This easily explains why the pilot was considered lost media for about a decade until it was finally found in late 2021. Now that it's publicly available nowadays, is the Gogo's Crazy Bones pilot as bad as who've witnessed it years ago said so? Spoiler alert? Yes. The pilot follows Team Beanzo attempting to retrieve one of Earth's rain clouds and deliver it to Glix. Meanwhile, Flarboil attempts to cheer up Struble by entertaining him in any way he can. One of which being, and I'm not kidding when I say this, impersonating Michael Jackson. Off the bat, there's a ton of red flags scattered throughout. The characters we follow from beginning to end don't have much depth to them and more so come across as one-dimensional. You got the confident lead who lacks of thinking twice before committing anything, the straight man who's also a punching bag, the comic relief, the female genius, I think that's a thing, and Knuckles. In other words, there's nothing too interesting to write home about the main cast in general, even when they have their short-lived moments. Everything about the writing feels off and uber weird. Half the time the characters will focus on their mission and then a few seconds later slack off for a bit while laughing at each other's misery.
Priceless! Play that explosion again, Walsh!
Seriously, how rushed was this script? As for the voice acting, it's okay, I guess. Given that the head of 4Kids Entertainment was in charge of the Gogo's pilot, that could explain why I hear Mike Pollock's voice performance in the form of Glix at the end. I'm sure you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about if you've seen the Gogo's pilot yourself. It's also worth noting that I can't be the only one on God's green earth who thinks Harpsy, the Gogo who has the ability to stretch his arms, sounds an awful lot like Gert from Invader Zim.
This is really high up.
Yeah, so?
So, I'm afraid of heights.
Now, you might be thinking, how's the visuals and animation? Oh, it's just as awful. While I do admire how the designs of the characters look and that they each have stamps on their backs to reflect the Crazy Bones staple, I highly doubt all of this will translate well in toy form. Think about it. Go-Go's are very small figures, and because of that, the toy makers have to find a unique way to play with those limitations if they want to add a little more color to the molds. Had this pilot been picked up for a series, it would be a living hell for these workers to try and figure out how to add little details from the OG CG models onto each one of these 1-inch plastic figures. Not to mention that the way the characters move in each shot is not only a bit stiff, but also all kinds of bizarre, making the overall presentation look more like Baby's first SFM project. There are even moments where some of the lip syncing doesn't match the audio.
Me? Of course not. I didn't forget the smollifier. I forgot to charge it.
I also feel like the usage of the lighting makes it look a bit dated in comparison to the CG cartoons that were currently running around the time the pilot was released. We'll go over my conclusive thoughts to wrap things up after this.
Full size.
To quickly recap, the pilot for the Go-Go's Crazy Bones TV series is as terrible as those who watched it years ago said so. With flat main characters, rush writing, average voice acting, and dated animation, it's no wonder this never got picked up. Yet at the same time, I'm at least grateful to witness what could have been despite its wasted potential. Besides, Go-Go's is one of those pieces of media that meant a lot to me since I first heard of it all the way back in 2009, and couldn't be more happier to be a fan of the toy line to this very day. There's still a lot of Go-Go's stuff that's considered to be lost media as of the making of the script, such as the lost 5 songs from the fictional groovy Go-Go's band The Breaks, as well as the unreleased Bio Go-Go series. Who knows if those will ever be found.
You got your bones ready? A friend with bones too? So play those crazy bones, that's what you gotta do. Kids go crazy for Crazy Bones, the collectible, tradable, playable new craze. With Crazy Bones play 7 different games, like Battle and Over the Line. Each one has a name like Eggy, Fly, Frankie, Joker, and the Fang. Get your shooters, get your targets, play for fun. Just play those Crazy Bones on the playground in the streets. Series 1 now available for a limited time, each sold separately from Playtoy.
Sponge, bob your head to the beat.